Hi, this is Vijay, and you're watching Focus and Blur channel. Now, in today's video, we are going to talk about Maharashtra government scheme that is providing 1500 rupees per month to eligible women. Now, from some estimates, the number may cross 20 million. Now, Maharashtra is an important state in India that provides highest GDP. So, any scheme that affects so many people is going to have wider implications. So, in this video, we are going to talk about the moral aspect of it, and we are going to see the morality of the scheme and whether we can justify it or whether we cannot. So, I do understand that I have used some big terms in the title, especially dharma, whose one meaning is duty, and also communism. So, if you watch the video till the end, hopefully you can see for yourself whether the title was apt or not. So, let's jump in. One of my favorite historians, Stephen Kotkin, was giving a lecture. And at the start of the lecture, he mentioned the things he was not going to talk about instead of mentioning the things he was going to talk about. So I found that technique quite interesting. And I'm going to copy that technique today. So I'm not going to talk about how this scheme may lead to women empowerment, how this may lead to more money in circulation, how government may get actually more taxes out of it, how this may lead to more mental security as such for many households. I'm also not going to talk about whether these funds may get misused, whether some ineligible recipients are there, whether people who are currently donating to some charitable institutions may now rethink their strategy, whether they may think, oh, government is actually doing my work for me, why should I donate any more? Whether So I'm not going to talk about any of those things. I'm also not going to talk about whether this was done to win elections, whether 1500 should become 2100 or 3000 rupees per month. So I'm not going to talk about any of those aspects. I will be laser focused on one aspect and one aspect alone, whether we can morally justify this transfer. Now let's take the case of our soldiers. Now, soldiers are fighting terrorists and they're fighting at the border, not because they get some compensation or because they get some respect. I think people who join military, they believe that they have the mental and physical capabilities to fight and protect this nation. So, since they have the best mental and physical capabilities, it's their duty or dharma to join military and protect the physical well-being of the entire nation all the way to the last man. So they're not doing this for any financial benefit or respect as such, but since they believe they will be the best at it, since they believe that they have the fighting spirit, they believe that they are the best at it, and because they are best at it, it is their duty to join military. Now, if we apply the same logic to the net taxpayer, now who is a net taxpayer? Now, I'm defining net taxpayer as a person who is putting more money in than he is getting back from the government. So, if net taxpayer thinks that since he has the capability to generate wealth, it is his fundamental duty to take care, to protect the financial well being, similar to the soldier who is protecting the physical well being of the last man. It's the duty of the net taxpayer to protect the financial well being of the last man. Then we can somehow see this morally. Now, let's see if we can look at it in some other fashion. Now, let's say you are earning 100 rupees, you pay 30% tax, so that would be 30 rupees. And let's say 5% of that tax is going towards the scheme, that would be 1.5 rupees. So, earlier you had 100% property rights, assuming that the tax is actually spent on the things you need. So, your net tax as such is zero. Whatever you are putting in, you are getting some facility back. But now 1.5% of your property is being given to some other person in the community, essentially eroding your private property rights. Now, I remember there was a book by another historian called Neil Ferguson, Civilization. And there he had mentioned 6 killer apps for any civilization to survive or prosper. And private property was one of those apps. So, what that means is if your civilization um, wants to survive and prosper, it needs to have private property rights. Now, here we do see some erosion of private property rights. It may not be 100%, but it feels like um, it has started. And in this example, as you can see, maybe the 1.5% of um, erosion of your property rights. Now, dare I say the word communism? I do not know if we are there yet or we should say that word yet. But if you look at the fundamental definition of communism, where the property does not belong to you, but rather it belongs to the community, and government as a representative of the community can decide what to do with that property. Now, here it feels like we are there with respect to 1.5% of your property, at least if we consider this example. So, the people who are a bit wary about this are wary because they think that this may be the advent of communism. What I would like to say to that is we have seen some schemes before, such as government have had schemes for housing and food, etc. But this is the first scheme where government is directly transferring money to some other sections of the community. This had never happened before. So earlier government had some schemes for farmers and some other pensions as well. But this is the very first direct transfer of wealth from net taxpayer to other parts of the community. So this is just another way to look at it. Um, I'm going to leave the decision up to you how to look at it. Um, but just think about it, what is happening, and whether we should continue with this or whether we should modify some aspects of it, whether it's all fine. So think about it. That's all I can say. If you like this video, then do subscribe and share. That's all I had for today. Thanks for watching Focus and Blur channel.